But I think you have to fall in love with your process for yourself. And once you do that, then if you do use social media in that light, your foundation, like you said, is always set.
Though,
exactly.
In that space.
And you can stay you every day because if that's you, you don't have to try to be anything else.
Right. Just so, like, underdog, like, your story needs to be heard. Like, this whole thing is about celebrating underdogs and just telling their story.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones. Yeah, we the ones. Yeah, we the ones. We the ones. Yeah.
I feel like mainstream sports media has sold themselves like overtime. Like, bro, they put like people falling. Like, dude could have just slipped or whatever. And the R&B like a 12, 13-year-old kid and they fail, to your point.
Yeah.
And to me, that's whack. You know what I'm saying? Because on both ways.
But I think so and I think not, like, because that's what comes with the game. Like, you have to, like, the real hoopers know if someone fell and they slipped off of a court or if somebody really made you fall. That's what I'm saying. But social media gives it everything that is not. So, like, when the real hoopers watch a highlight, we watch it and say, he slipped before he made that move. You know what I mean?
So the dude didn't go nowhere. It's just
going on. Like, you know what I mean? He still missed. Like, we understand that, and I think it gets so lost with everything that's diluting the game or just changing the game. It's a different era, but I just think that real hoopers. That's why I kind of don't. I've grown to not fall into where I'm at or what's going on around me or where he's at or because the real ones that has game that I respect or that people respect when it comes to actually playing the game of basketball understands things that you can't get if you don't dive into basketball, enjoy basketball. And that's like, I feel like it's a different realm and circle of respect, and the real ones, they get what they deserve in the end when you show the game love and you love the game.
No doubt. Well, let's move along because your story's good. I'm so excited to get to the meat and potatoes. So, like, you go to high school, like junior year, senior year. I'd imagine, like you said, you weren't very good, but you hung in there.
Yeah.
And tell us about your junior and senior year. How did that go?
So junior year, my teammates was my guys, so I was around all my friends. Like I said, that's kind of why I really got into it because they all played. But I was just a defender, slasher. Did my job with seniors, so my coach was like old school. He goes seniors, juniors, sophomores, when your time come. So we went through all that. We was good, but just solid. My 12th grade year, I get a coach come from a D3. So I'm like, all right. I never even knew that this was something. Like, I seen other people do stuff, but I never seen it in person. A coach come to a game, you know what I mean, and want to talk to you and talk to your parents. Great guy, still cool with him. He's at St. Joe's now. It's my guy. But so that happens. 12th grade year continues. Get a call from a D2. Go on a visit there. Love it. Verbally commit. So I'm going there. I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Not a scholarship, but for free school, I can't complain because I didn't even know what I was going to do. You know what I mean? I was a smart kid coming out of high school. Like, I had 20 scholarships. Like, I didn't plan on playing basketball. I wanted to walk on at St. John's, something like that, like when you're applying for schools and things. But all that happened. Then eventually, in Niagara, coach, I forget how they got a wind of me. Somebody told them about me, though, and I guess their word was good. And they talked to me, and we talked. Went up there for a visit, played, signed on the spot. So that year, I signed there. I went to school like the next month. I signed or something like that. But I had grew like 3 or 4 inches in that summer. So that was kind of like, all right, I can actually play at this level, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, pause there. When you talk about a blessing and celebrating, you played basketball for 2 years. No AAU for real.
No, I never played.
And got a scholarship.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Like, that's unheard of. Like, I get in the gym with, these kids in their 4th grade and their 5th grade, and, mom is paying for the trainer and doing this and doing that. and you 2 years just fall into basketball, didn't it just something you enjoy doing and got a scholarship?
But I would say it was a lot of opportunity too, because I didn't have to deal with a lot of things I seen other hoopers have to deal with growing up where we're from. Like I kind of was separated from that in a sense. Like my mom, I had to come in the house at a certain time. I couldn't leave the block. I had to go to charter schools and get out of the neighborhood. Like my dad would rob. You know what I mean? It was things that kept me from falling victim to our environment or just lifestyles. And my mom and dad worked hard where I didn't have to worry about food or I didn't have to step up and put clothes. Like, you know, people go through real stuff. So it was also opportunity that allowed me to just be comfortable and not force the issue.
So you feel like we were talking off air, like your journey is your journey, and that was the best thing for you. Do you feel like had you started playing basketball, it's easy to think like, man, if I would have been playing basketball 7 years old, I would have been a multi-year NBA player. Do you feel like that, or do you feel like
both? I feel both. I think that if I would have started playing earlier when everyone else started working out, and I would have hit my peak when you know what I mean, understand the game, now I would have known more about basketball, I would have known more about the business aspect of basketball instead of, because I didn't know anything about anything. So I feel like if I'd have known more, I'd have been well off. But also, as good as I think I would have been, everything that happened, I wasn't even ready. I barely made where I was, but everything clicked at the right time for the right situation. So like, as much as I wanted something else where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to learn, that lesson that I needed from that journey to prepare me for whatever else I'm about to go through, I only would have got if I had, you know what I mean, been through that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Because, like, to me, like, when we talk about this, I said this on the interview with Mate, is that what makes an underdog unique is because, again, going back to that definition, it's a competitor who's assumed, who appears, looks like they have no chance to win, but why do they win? It's the things that you can't measure. Do you feel like because you didn't play basketball, you didn't get the big head, and you developed a deep spirit, you're one of the most humble people I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? Like your humility, your hard work, like your commitment to defense, your commitment to being a defensive player. I saw one of your quotes. It says, this is a quote, you were overseas, it says, "I just love making other people happy. There's a lot of selfish people in the world, so whenever I'm on a team, you can see it. I can yell at my teammates so they can yell at me. It's no hard feelings, it's all love." Do you think maybe like you wouldn't have that type, you wouldn't have developed those things?
I think I would have had that regardless. My mom and dad, it's like if you meet them, you're going to see kind of what I mean. It's just like they're loving people, like, and you always have a good time around them. I don't care. I feel comfortable bringing my mom and dad around any type of friends, people, business
really
people.
grounded.
Yeah, they understand life, what matters in life, how to respect people, you know what I mean, and still be yourself. So I think I know, because I know people that have been blessed to have that journey and be great from the time they was born, that's still humble, you know what I mean? And I think it comes from your background and the people you're around, and I've been blessed to have that. And so I think I would have been still the same, but I don't think I would have had the same maybe hunger if I would have looked at it, because I would have been the preyest, I would have been the top, you know what I mean, instead of chasing and chasing and chasing. So sometimes you get comfortable, whereas me, I can't get comfortable because I'm always trying to make up ground. So I think it would have been a different viewpoint, but I think my foundation, the people that's around me, my fiance, my brothers, like the people that's around me, it ain't no getting big-headed, you know what I mean? And I care too much about people to get, like, I'm nobody. You know what I mean? Like, in a sense, like, everything that you've done is just who you are as a person, is how do people respect you, how do people feel about you is how you are. So I don't have no reason to not be humble, I haven't moved my mom out her house. You know what I mean? I haven't done anything to be a person to be not humble. So I just look at it as everyone has different things they're good at.
I've known people that have accomplished a lot less than you. That's walking around and they're not humble.
No.
You know, and obviously that's an ingredient. There's a reason why you are humble. But even that, you know, talking about just like the DNA of an underdog, so to speak, being committed to the foundation. And I think that when you talk about social media will try to convince you, it will influence you to finesse the process, where you just say, forget the foundation, let me just get to the end result. In my book, I say that when you allow God to be the travel agent for your life, right? He doesn't never book a direct flight.
Yeah.
He takes you the long way with a bunch of purposeful layovers. You know, and so I think that like just stopping there and really understanding if there's an underdog watching, like make sure you lay a foundation.
Yeah, you gotta have a foundation, and it has to be something that you're proud of. Like when the cameras are off and you're in the gym by yourself, you have to work that you proud. Like I'm putting in work for me. It's not for anything. Because most of the people that I know that's successful in basketball and that's nice, that I think is nice, don't really post them doing too much. You know what I mean? But it's getting like you're supposed to. This is what we signed. It's like a 9 to 5, and I'm coming to work and I post that I'm at work every day.
Yeah, like this is just my life.
This is the base level. The extra comes when you coming in early before practice, when you coming in after, when you lift extra, when you stretch, when you do yoga. That's now you're like, all right, now I'm doing, you know what I mean? But I think you have to fall in love with your process for yourself. And once you do that, then if you do use social media and that like your foundation, like you said, is always set. Though, exactly.
In that space.
And you can stay you every day because if that's you, you don't have to try to be anything else.
Right.
When you fake, it's like, I have to be this around that and remember this.
And that sounds exhausting.
I'm too lazy for that. I don't feel like that. I don't have the energy. I mean no disrespect.
Bro, I posted a picture of me sleeping in the car. For real.
No, I believe you.
Yeah, but like to your point, because I wanted to be real. Like, you know, I just wanted to like I believed in my future, and I knew that like God was challenging me to do that, because like when I'm up, people can see like where I came from.
Right.
And stop trying to hide the pain of the process.
Yeah, because it's somebody that's going through that.
Somebody needs to see that.
Literally.
No doubt.
That's tough.
You went to Niagara your freshman year.
Yeah, sophomore year.
2 years, and then you transferred to Tennessee State.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How was that?
It was rocky. First year was love. My coach, he was a guy from around Philadelphia. Assistant coach the same way, both of them. All three of them, matter of fact. And then there was 4 people from Philly on the team.
Oh, so you such
yeah. So we in the middle of Niagara. It's tough, but I'm with the homies and I'm in my element. I'm speaking my language. They know what I'm talking about. We know the same people. First year we go to the NIT. Mind you, I come in. I'm thinking I'm a redshirt because you know what I mean. I came late. Like I'm just happy to be here. I'm 160, 6'3". You know what I mean? Like just not ready. But coach played me. I wound up starting. We go to the NIT. Best time. It was a great year. Loved it. Coach leave, go to Hofstra. So I stay. Me and the coach just wound up not working. He released me, but a teammate I played with, his dad played in the NBA and went to the school that I wound up transferring to, Tennessee State. Yeah. So just off the strength of that connection, my coach at Tennessee State, Coach Ford, took me. Yeah. And then I redshirted a year, and that was the year that like I had a whole year to just really work out and practice. You know what I mean? I couldn't play games. Yeah. So I was literally going to class to gym, class weights. Like I'm in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, like I said, my coach in practice, I'm on a scout team, so I can make as many mistakes as I want to. So now I'm learning. Now you know what I mean? Right. I'm doing dumb things or things that's not professional level, and now I see what they're talking about because I done did it 4 times. I done tried it and it didn't work, so that doesn't work. You know what I mean? But it took that.
So you took advantage of that.
Exactly, because I'm like I said, I'm in here. You know what I mean? And on practices, I'm not taking practices off. I'm going like it's a game. You know what I mean? And any of my teammates can vouch for that. If it's like when I'm on the court, I love basketball, so it comes out regardless. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I got so much better that year, and my coach, we built a relationship because I'm sitting out, so we watch. You know what I mean? And he's a defensive coach, and that's what I do naturally. So it just fit. Yeah.
So I want to stop and ask you this question because you were in Tennessee State. Nashville, I got a kid, Colin Smith. What up, Colin? He's a freshman at Vanderbilt. like Vanderbilt's popping.
For sure.
There's a room for a lot of distraction, especially when you're not playing. And I think could be great, great advice. Whether you're redshirting or whether you're not playing or whether you're like, you go to a big party school or whether you go to a school where it's just popping.
Yeah.
Like Georgia State, let's say, that's right downtown Atlanta or something like that. How were you able to stay focused, and how did you deal with distractions? Whether it was a social life, did you just not have one altogether, or did you just were really mature and you never let it affect? How did you handle that?
So I'm trying to figure out how to put it. I definitely wasn't mature, but I actually did go out my redshirt year and lived it. You know what I mean? I did enjoy it. It's just as much work as you're out, as much time as you're out, you got to put double the work in. You know what I mean? But for me, going out doesn't interest me. It's after an hour, I'm tired and I want to go. Like I said, I'm lazy. I don't want to be around this for too much longer.
So you wasn't like rock.
Yeah. So I'm in the gym, or I'm eating, or I'm in the crib. You know where I'm at. We could play Uno. We could do whatever you want in the crib. But I'm in the crib, and then she was with me. So them tough games, my mom not right there, my dad not right there. She kind of keeping my head straight. You know what I mean? Like just picking you up when you're down, but also keeping you down when you might get too up.
Keeping you grounded.
Yeah, because like at school, we actually, the year I was redshirted, we won 5 games. And then in the 2 years I played, we won 20 games. And our first team all conference, unanimous defensive player. You know what I mean? So it's like room for me not to be humble. And sometimes that do come with that, especially in college. But I think you have to enjoy college, but you also have to know what's the level. You have to know when to sacrifice and when not to. You know what I mean? Middle of the season, you
be responsible.
Yeah, off season, it's times and places, and I feel like that's why more people that's older and in positions, the seniors and juniors, or even when you get to the NBA or professional teams, I don't think the old heads look out for the people younger or older. You know what I mean? As much, because the people I was lucky to be around. I learned all that. I seen them not go out I seen it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's game. I think that's free game, because you can't put your future in somebody else's. If you have an OG that's gonna look out for you, that's great. If you're gonna have a coach that's gonna do those things, that's great. But a lot of times, man, that dude is competing with you,
100%.
And he probably looking at you like, man, I know that this dude might be better than me, and I got to find any advantage I am. So not only are they not going to say anything, they might be trying to encourage you to
antagonize it. Yeah, antagonize it. And that's when, I don't know, I've been blessed. I give off good energy, so I've been thankful enough to have good energy around me and reciprocate the energy without having to think too much about who I'm around. But that's something you have to learn how to dissect that before you even get into a relationship. You know what I mean? So everything is not a friendship. Everything is not a best friend or a brother. Some things are business. Some things are co-workers. Some things you have to be cordial with everyone, but everything isn't a buddy. So you have to learn how to be okay with not having some friendships or not knowing some people close enough. It keeps you out of a lot of trouble. You stay and you know what I mean, in your little circle, and you expand when you want to expand, but it keeps you grounded and your foundation is set. So I think that's probably much the biggest thing.
Underrated, we the underdogs.